George Romero. What can I say about the guy? I think he's a fantastic director, but the problem with George Romero is that people are always connecting him to the zombie genre, primarily for two reasons: Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. But my argument is that he's made a long line of zombie films recently, and I know he's working on a sort of non-zombie film at the moment with Dario Argento, but I feel like he's got to get away from the zombie genre. And my main reason is this: people always think, you say George Romero, they think, first of all, they think Dawn of the Dead, which is the second film in his sort of zombie franchise, and then they think Night of the Living Dead, the original one. Now, both of those films are great, they're fantastic, right? But as good as they are, I don't think his entire career has been defined by those two movies. Now, I'm not saying that he's made films that are better than those, but I think he's certainly made films that are at least the equal of both of those movies. Day of the Dead, which is the third film in his zombie franchise, again is, I think, a decent film. I enjoy it, but I've got a soft spot for it. But I think that you can tell that the budget was probably pulled out from underneath George Romero's feet, when he was making it, and it could have been something much better. But I feel like he's really sort of getting further and further away from his horror roots as he keeps making zombie films. Part of me thinks maybe it's because he can get funding to make zombie films, and George Romero comes across as a guy that's like really enthusiastic about filmmaking, so he'd rather be making films than not making films. But anyway, there are two films that I actually place as my two favourite George Romero films, and neither of them are zombie films. The first one would be Martin, which is I think I've talked about it before. It's a vampire film. I think it's one of the best vampire films ever made. There's nothing else quite like it out there within the sort of vampire mythology. And the other one is Creepshow, which I've talked about quite a bit. We all know I'm a big, massive anthology horror fan, and I hold Creepshow up as one of the best anthology horror films of all time. I just think that those two films are as good as Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. I really do. I think they should be talked about, a lot more. Not necessarily more than Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, because they were seminal horror films. But Romero really achieved something special with the film Martin and Creepshow. Within those two genres, vampire and anthology horror, he made two of the best out of those genres ever, And I just feel like it's a shame that he doesn't get to do more outside of the zombie genre, and I really hope that he does, because I really feel like he's got a lot more to give. There are some other great films he's done. He did Two Evil Eyes, which was another anthology horror film, which he co-directed with Dario Argento. They each took an Edgar Allan Poe story and directed it. I thought that was fantastic. The Crazies I remember being good, but I haven't seen it since I was very young. The same goes for The Dark Half. I love the book The Dark Half, but I remember liking the film when I was a kid, but like I say, I haven't seen it for a long time, so I can't really comment on those ones. And I will hold my hands up, I've not seen the last two zombie films that George Romero's made. I just feel, but I started watching one of them and I just felt like, I'll return and I'll watch them at some point, but I just felt like, they're not really there, compared to like his other work. So yeah, he's a director, along with Tobe Hooper as well, who has done a lot more than what he's most famous for. And I think people should start to sort of acknowledge that. So, what's your favourite George Romero film, and what do you think? Do you think he's made films that are up there with the zombie films that he's made? And that's about it. I haven't made videos for a little while because I've actually been really ill again, unfortunately, but I'm feeling better and going to get a bunch of videos done now. And I've also started a horror blog called The Horror of Mike, funnily enough, and I'll put a link to that down there if you like reading blogs. It's just going to be like reviews, discussions about like different horror films and things like that. People can get involved if they like. And remember to join me on the forums as well, on Area Shifty Bun. I'll put the link down there. I hope you're all doing well, and I look forward to doing more videos. That's about it. Bye.